Hi, I want to show you how to make an awesome Mother's Day present or a present for someone special using items that you can either get at a local craft store or maybe you find around your house. You can use cardstock or a craft canvas, Elmer's glue, and tissue paper. And the tissue paper, I'll also link to a video where I show how to make the custom tissue paper. The photo, I just printed off from my home printer, but you can also use other photos as well. All of this you can use to make a great Mother's Day present, or if you're just running late for another present, it's something memorable to cherish. Just stay tuned, and I'll show you step by step. So the first step, which I didn't record, is I made a glue water mixture. It's about half glue, half water, and the glue I'm using is Elmer's glue ball. And I just have an old brush that I use specifically for putting on the glue or for priming substrates when I do mosaic work. Which, by the way, that's why there's so much glass around, as I've been working on cutting glass for mosaics, and this is a good break. And the next step is I just take pieces of the tissue paper and I wet the canvas with the glue mixture, and then I carefully put on the tissue paper and I go over that with the same mixture. Now it can rip. I'm not too worried if there's some slight rippage because you can just cover it up. Um, for each of the boys, I'm doing a different design or shape. For my oldest, we're cutting the tissue paper in forms of butterflies, and then for bone crusher, we're actually cutting them in hearts. For the youngest son, we're doing circles primarily, or ovals. Some of them are ovals, more oval than circle shaped. But I just continue doing the same thing where I alternate between putting on the glue water mixture and then I put on a piece of tissue paper. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward through some of this because it's literally the same thing over and over again. Um, but it's a fun experience. Later, I'll have to show you a clip of me working with one of the boys to show you that it is possible, or this is a good project to do with your kids, with your older kids. This particular canvas I'm working on here is for our youngest son, and so he's only 2. So I definitely don't trust him with scissors or trying to paint. And so that's why I'm doing all of the work here. Once it's finished, you don't have to let this completely dry before you put your picture on. Um, that's something I want to point out. You can, it doesn't hurt, but it's not necessary. After I finish this particular canvas at the end, I'm like, oh, this seems like it's missing something. And so you can just keep on adding other layers. It doesn't affect it. And with color theory going on, you can see different shades, and it's a little hard to tell right now while the glue is still wet, but when it dries, it looks really cool. And so I think there's one last piece here that I wanted to add just to give it a little bit more pop and not so much red there in that one corner. No other reason really. And then the one thing is you fold this over kind of like folding Christmas presents. So I just do one side of the edge and then I carefully fold it under. And then um, sometimes I use my fingers just to help mold it a little better. Now the picture, I just printed this picture out on like photo paper or brochure paper. Include links to in the description to the supplies that we use, and I just cut it out, printed it on my I should say first printed it on my Epson printer, and I cut it out and glued it on. Put some of that glue mixture on the back, and then very carefully I'm going to go over it with um, over the front just to help hold it down in place and to make it smooth. I have also used Mod Podge before, but this sometimes the Mod Podge seems to take some of the printer ink off, and the Elmer's glue, in my experience, doesn't do as much. Here's just a little brief sample. There's Spider-Man. He's waving. Where Spider-Man has helped since he's the oldest, and we trust him with scissors. He's helped. He's cutting and helped designing his gift for his mom. But it's the same exact process, except here instead of doing circles, we did butterflies. And once again, we designed some of the custom uh, paper. And here's a picture of all three, the final products. We think that they turned out really great. It shows the personality of each of the boys. And so we have the butterflies with Spider-Man. And there's A-bomb with different circles and ovals and textures there. And then finally Bone Crusher with hearts. I hope you've enjoyed this. Be sure to like and subscribe, and have a great Mother's Day for all the mothers out there.